Hello and welcome to another episode of the In Between Podcast. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of the In Between Podcast with your host as always, Kyle McLemore. Thank you so much for tuning in. How are you guys doing? Is this the first attempt at this episode? Not at all. Are we feeling that podcast vibe? Not at all. But that's okay, because this isn't about me. It's about bringing the content to you. So thank you so much for tuning in. What's new with you guys? I just got done walking that dog. Walking the dog. Anybody else feel insanely guilty when they don't walk their dog? You know, ever since Neil deGrasse Tyson, NDT. Ever since I saw this clip with Neil deGrasse Tyson where he's like talking about dogs and talking about how, well, you know, roughly if, I'm trying to do a Neil deGrasse impersonation. Well, you know, roughly, if a dog ages 7 times faster than a human, then theoretically, 1 day for a dog is roughly the equivalency of a week for a human. And I remember hearing that and being like, head explosion. I mean, it made sense. Like, you do the whole 7 multiplication thing, 7 times 7 for every year. So it's like every day is more or less like a week. And so any day that I don't walk my dog, I feel terrible, because I'm like, basically kept her held hostage for like an entire week. Like, imagine myself being trapped inside for a whole week, never seeing the blue sky. So try to get out, try to walk that dog, all because Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, billions of years ago. Neil deGrasse is awesome, though. I used to love that one show, Beyond, I don't even remember what it's called. Get high and have your mind blown with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Because I don't know if that's what it was called, but that's what I used to call it. That show where I would get blasted. That show where I would just get stoned into oblivion and just listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson explain the universe. Neil deGrasse Tyson explains the universe. And speaking of the universe, we should probably talk a little bit about the alien invasion over in, where was it going down? New Mexico? Or was it Nevada? I think it's Nevada. Definitely end state. Nevada, Nebraska, New Hampshire. I think it was Nevada. Aliens supposedly landed in Nevada. Got some tall shapes walking around. It was like a whole news story, like cops. I remember like watching the video of like cops showing up, like, "Hey, so you guys are reporting aliens? Like, what's going on here?" And I mean, like the sheer amount of like increase of like overall alien like news like stuff has been going on, like alien news stories all the time. I feel like more than ever before. Or like, do you feel like, remember when they had that news conference, like that kind of like big White House conference where they were like, yeah, I guess we'll declassify a bunch of stuff. Like, yeah, it's true. There's like stuff flying around that we have no idea what's going on. And I think like they were expecting the reaction to be like, oh, like everyone lose their mind. But I think the general reaction was like, yeah, all right, that's cool, I guess. Like, I gotta like go to work. Like, they're not actually landing, right? Like, nobody's being invaded. Like, they're just flying around. Okay, I'm gonna go to work. I don't really care. Like, I think that was the general vibe of America. Was like, like, until they're actually landing and stepping out of the ship and being like, then I don't care. Like, if they're just flying around, like, how many times do you hear the same story of, like, it was the shape of a tic-tac, and it moved at speeds that are incomprehensible. And it's like, okay, and ... and like, do you have any new information other than like these blurs or like this spark of light that just it accelerates beyond speed and then it'll stop suddenly and then reverse direction straight up? Hey, that's cool, but until they step out and like try to talk, I don't think I have time. Like, I gotta go to work, I'm trying to edit this podcast. Hit me up when it's like a more breaking news, when you get an actual like crash landing or something. Hit me up when it turns into like Mars Attacks, because otherwise I don't care. It's like, I wish I did. I do think aliens are cool. I am a believer, whatever. Bring it on. I'm ready for it. But we'll see what happens. What else did I want to talk about? That was organic. I was going to talk about, oh yeah, there we go. I was watching a little bit of a throwback. I was rewatching the latest Top Gun film, and my goodness, what a great movie that is. Like, and to think about like the time capsule that movie is like going to become eventually, like, so middle of the pandemic at a time when everybody was straight to streaming. Like, you gotta imagine the pressure, the sheer pressure on Tom Cruise of everyone just being like, dude, stream it. Shoot it up on HBO Max or HBO Go or whatever it was called at the time. Every couple months, HBO has to come out with a new name and like a new version of their mobile app or whatever, for whatever reason. Mats. Stream it on Mats, Tom Cruise, and what do you want to call it? The willpower to be like, nah, we go into theaters. Nah, do you not know that my name is Tom Box Office Smashing Cruise, dude? Like, do you think I'm gonna go VOD? How dare you? And then, in hindsight, totally right move. That movie smashed all the records, and what an awesome movie it was. And then it reminded me because anytime I watch a movie that I enjoy, it's like, I'm going to be doing a deep dive on IMDb, like all up in that trivia section. The fun facts, trivia, crazy credits. I go through it like a lunatic. I go through it like a FBI agent going through it, searching for any kind of cool facts on a movie I like. But yeah, I found a cool, interesting thing about the Top Gun Maverick. But to put it in context, do you guys remember the Tom Cruise freak out on the Top Gun set? I think in terms of celebrity freak out audio, I think the Golden Crown goes to Christian Bale, right? He has, I think, or at least in my personal opinion, the greatest celebrity freak out, celebrity, whatever you want to call it, video. It's not even a video, it's pure audio. Same thing with the Tom Cruise one, pure audio. And I think that makes it better. It leaves it to your imagination. It's like an audio book almost. You can imagine Christian Bale in whatever way you want. He could be wearing the actual Batman suit if you want to in his mind. But I think Christian Bale is top tier when it comes to celebrity freak out audio clips or whatever. That freak out from the Terminator, is that what it's from? It's been a while since I listen to it every once in a while, just when I want to pick up my mood, because it makes me genuinely really, really happy. There's so many parts of it that are just so legit hilarious. There's a part, just the part where he's because I think what happens is he's trying to act, and then this dude, the director, I think he's the DP, director of photography comes in to like do some light adjustments or something, like as Christian Bale is like in a scene, and he's just like, "What are you doing, dude? I'm acting." And then he just goes off, dude. He's just like, "What are you doing? I'm trying to do a scene, and you're just walking around. What are you doing? What are you doing?" He's like, "I was just trying to check the light." Oh, and how was it? How was it? You ruined the scene. Oh, good for you. That's the best part. Good for you. Or no. The best part of the Christian Bale part is that there's like a moment where you can like, that's what makes it even better too, is it's like, it's all audio, so you just imagine. But there is a moment, my favorite part is when he's just like, I think it's like, it's winding down. And like the argument is like basically done, and it's just kind of like slowly tipping down. And Christian Bale's just like, "Man, like we're fucking done, mate. After this, we're done professionally." And it's just like it's going down. And then you just hear like this little, like mumble from the director guy, just being like, "I mean, I was just trying to do my part." And then you just hear everybody like they're like holding him back. Like, "I'm gonna fucking kick your ass." And it's like, oh, dude, it's so hilarious. But Tom Cruise, always pining for that number one slot, was like, "Hey, I'll give the audio freak out a try." But if I remember correctly, let me see if I can find it. If I remember correctly, his was like justified, if you want to call it that. His was like, if I remember correctly, he's like screaming about like, "Hey, I'm trying." He's like, "I am like single-handedly trying to like rejuvenate the movie theaters. Like, I am single-handedly like trying to make this movie happen and like not have it go straight to streaming. And the rules are, if we're going to keep doing this, we have to wear masks, and you guys are not wearing them, and I'm going to murder somebody. Like the next person who doesn't wear a mask on this set, I'm going to kill him." Like, he really goes off on like the mask thing. But like, you know, justifiably, it's like in a workplace, like you're trying to.
I don't ever want to see it again. Ever. And if you don't do it, you're fired. And I see you do it again, you're gone. And anyone on this crew does it. That's it.
It's the contrast, I think, is what makes it so jarring. It's like, because Tom Cruise is like so composed, like all the time, like so. I think composed is the best word. He's so like in control all the time too. So to peek behind the scenes and be like, "Oh shit." Can you imagine being on that set, being like, "Oh man, he is losing"? Or imagine being that guy that like had his mask under his chin, like, "Oh shit."
And you too, and you too, and you, if you ever do it again. That's it. No apologies.
It goes on, but yeah, you get it. No apologies. But it brings me to what I was thinking about when I was on IMDb going through the whole Maverick trivia thing, because there was a spot where normally I was like, when you put it in context of like having seen Tom Cruise go insane and like be all crazy mad like that, it's like really puts it in perspective. But like famously in the original Top Gun, there is a shirtless like volleyball scene. Dudes are spiking. So then there's the same scene in Maverick, right? It's like the new generation all, I think they're playing football instead. I don't know, whatever. They're all shirtless. And what's his name? God, every time I do this podcast, I have like a wipe of all celebrity names. Not Tom Cruise, the other guy, Goose's son. But he has that weird slow motion dance or whatever. But everyone is shred city like for that scene. And I remember reading on IMDb like, yeah, like it was like, you know, that's the day. Like that's the, like everywhere else you're wearing like a fighter suit jumpsuit, a fighter pilot jumpsuit or whatever. You're in the cockpit where the camera's only gonna see like your neck up. Most of the movie you're probably gonna be like either in a jumpsuit or neck up. So it's like, don't really need to be in tippity top shape. I get you don't need to work on your insane 12 pack when it's gonna be like covered up, but it's like it's all leading up to just that one scene, right, where everybody's like shredded in slow motion, sunset, playing football. And so it's like they did it, they shoot it, they're like, yeah, we got it, baby. That's a wrap on the diet. So everyone like goes out the next night to celebrate. Everyone's like drinking root beer floats and like, oh my God, tater tots, I remember these. And like, well, let's just eat a big box of Pop-Tarts. Yeah, screw it, blah, blah, blah. And so they're really breaking the diet and the exercise. And then apparently, like the next day or the next like week maybe, or whenever they're going through like the footage, Tom Cruise is looking through the footage like, this is not working out. This is no good. We're going to reshoot that volleyball scene all over again. And everybody's like half eating a pizza. Huh? Did you say we're doing it again? Tom Cruise walks in there. Hey, get that out of your mouth. Oh, this is terrible. We're doing it again. Doing it again? Tom, I don't know if I should...
That's it! No apologies. You can tell it to the people that are losing their homes because our industry is shut down.
Tom, it was just a few Pop-Tarts and some ice cream.
All I want is if you don't do it, you're out. We are not shutting this movie down.
Okay. Tom, I'm sorry. Let's start doing like 1,000 crunches like immediately. It's so rare to see him like in crazy freak out. I have to have some Christian Bale action. Now that I've talked about it, like I have to hear it. Christian Bale, freak out song. What? I'm gonna listen to that later because I'm pretty sure I'll get dinged.
Do I fucking walk around and rip that? No, shut the fuck up, Bruce. Do I want? No! Don't shut me up. Am I gonna walk around and rip your fucking lights down in the middle of a scene? Then why the fuck are you walking right through?
Oh, this is it.
Like this in the background. What the fuck is it with you? What don't you fucking understand? You got any fucking idea about, hey, it's fucking now, isn't it?
Let's try to get to that part. Yeah, he's like, this is it coming up where he's like, all right, they're trying to get the scene going.
Tom, put this on, please.
It's like basically over. Put it on.
You're unbelievable, man. You're unfucking believable. Number of times you're strolling and fucking around in the background. I never had a DP behave like this. You don't fucking understand what it's like working with actors. That's what that is. That's what that is, man. I'm telling you. I'm not asking, I'm telling you.
Oh, it's right here.
You wouldn't have done that otherwise.
No, what it is looking at the lighting. Sure that you are...
I want to fucking kick your fucking ass. You know, shut up for a second.
That's the best part right there is when he's just like, you just don't get it, man. That's what that is. No, what it is I was trying to do, but you just hear, whoa, Christian, whoa. I just imagine him with his like crazy, all the Terminator gear and stuff, dude. Ah, man. I mean, like, also too, like with the Tom thing, it's like I said, it was justified. And I think it's like, I'm like, I don't think I've ever not been on Christian Bale's side. Because it's like, it's gotta be tough, dude. Like, you're trying to, like, imagine it being like a really, like, what if, I don't know, I can't even, that's the other part that's like, in hindsight, that's also hilarious, is like, I think that, like, 3-minute clip is infinitely greater than Terminator Salvation will ever be. I barely remember that movie, dude. I remember Terminator Salvation being bad to the bone, but like literally bad, like not a good movie. I think that's from the Sam Worthington effect. Dude, Sam Worthington, man, you got to feel for the guy because he's cool, man. I don't know. There's something about him. He's cool. But he just cannot get traction, dude. If it's not Avatar or Clash of the Titans, it ain't working, dude. Any movie that he jumped in was just like, ooh, bad timing. But to have such a famous clip on such a terrible movie, but then, yeah, like I was saying, I think it's like kind of justified if you think about like Christian Bale trying to get like emotional with like, I don't remember, Sam Worthington dying in his arms maybe, and then you got this guy adjusting lights in the background while you're trying to like have this emotional scene. Really takes you out of it, I'm sure. But yeah, I'll never not love that clip forever. Speaking of other movies, I saw for the first time The Notebook. Famous Gosling and Rachel McAdams, famous as like one of the most famous like romantic drama, whatever you want to call it, movie. Also, not. I don't think it's like I'm the demographic, like, or at least it's just not my thing. But you know what's interesting? Other than like really disliking Ryan Gosling at like the beginning of that film, you know what's interesting is it's like a real time capsule almost, or like an indicator of like how early it is in Ryan Gosling's career. Because it's like, you know what's the craziest part about The Notebook is that they make Ryan Gosling wear like these really dark brown eye contacts the whole movie. Because, like, the older dude that they got to play older Ryan Gosling has brown eyes. So they're like, all right, Gos, you're doing brown eyes. And it's like, who the hell thought it was a good idea to make him have dark brown eyes? You're taking away, like, one of the best features of Ryan Gosling is his insanely steel blue eyes. Are you crazy, dude? Like, that was a real jumping out of me. Like, why does he look weird? And I'm like, oh, because he has like brown eyes in this film. Like, weird. It's like making I don't even know what that's like making, because it's crazy to take away such a striking feature, and I don't know, it's like making them, putting all this like weird special effects to make them like extra funky looking for some reason. Overall, Notebook, probably not my favorite movie, not really my thing. I was not a big fan of Ryan Gosling kind of being a dick in the beginning. Like, he just crashes their date. He's like doing like chin-ups on the Ferris wheel, like, what's up? Want to go on a date? And then later they have like the worst relationship. They're like constantly like fighting and then like just making up fighting. Exhausting. Other new movies, Extraction's getting a big push on Netflix. It's like Extraction 2 came out, and like the next day Netflix was like, don't worry, we got 3 coming. And it's like, I cannot remember number 1 at all. And I feel like it's very typical of like a Netflix movie where it's like, so I'm going to try to watch it again. Extraction 2, I mean, it's got to be good if they got 3 coming out, so it's got to have something to it. Same with Extraction 1. It's got to have enough juice to be like stretching to 3, so it's like got to have something going for it other than Chris Hemsworth, who, there's a good example. It's like Chris Hemsworth's first movie, you make him wear like dark brown eye contacts, and it's like, one of the best features here, but whatever. Anyway, I feel like Extraction is a perfect example of like a classic Netflix movie where it's like I could watch it 30 times and still never remember like what this movie is about. It's almost like, I should have talked about it earlier with the Tom Cruise thing, but it's almost like the Mission Impossible movies. There's that new one coming out, Part 1, Dead Reckoning or whatever, which makes it like 7, which is like another genre, like another franchise that like is sneakily reaching up to the double digits. Like, out of nowhere, like Transformers is like on 8 or something. Fast and Furious just hit 10. Planning to go to like 13, I think. And now we got Mission Impossible sneaking up with like, this will be like the 7th, I think, maybe. I can't remember because it all blurs into like one long action sequence. Like, I think that's part of the problem too. That's the same issue I had with Fast and Furious, where it's like, if you try to sit there and like binge them and like catch up on the series, it's like, it just turns into like a blur of like Tom Cruise running. It's like that's all I can remember from every movie is just Tom Cruise sprinting like a maniac. Now, that's not to say that they're necessarily bad. They all visually look unbelievable, and there's always, like, you know, famously, like, the one insane stunt that, like, is basically the only reason we're going to see these movies. Are we going for the story of Mission Impossible? Can you tell me who the villain is in any of these movies, dude? Because I have no idea, and they always, like, it's like the syndicate or like the founders or like the it's always like this like mysterious group or something. It's always like there's always like a mystery shadow man or something. Like there's never like I don't know. It's not like James Bond or like it's hard to explain why Mission Impossible just feels like a blur. And then who does he work for? Like it's not MI6, which is like James Bond. It's like MI5 or something. It's not the CIA. It's like they have their own super secret organization that I never can like remember what it's called. Like who is his boss? Like who's Tom Cruise's boss in these movies? It's always just like a book that's like, if you choose to accept, then blah blah blah. Like who is it from the president? Like I don't know who's giving out these orders to Tom Cruise. It's just, yeah, so I tried to, like, I think I did watch all of them, and I think for the most part I was staying on track until we get to the Henry Cavill one. Henry Cavill? Until we get to the Superman crossover Mission Impossible one where it just, like, as hard as I try, there's always a moment where I'm just like, can't help but look at my phone, like, or just, like, can't help but, like, get distracted, and it's like, it's always at the same part where it's like, and then like all of a sudden I look up and I'm like, oh, I missed it. I missed the part where Superman has his double cross. Like I never remember why he double crosses. I can never remember who the villain is. Like something about Mission Impossible is just like, it's just a weird blur of just Tom Cruise. But having said that, I'm looking forward to the new one. I wish. Like, it's tough. Like, I know that, like I just said, the big stunt is, like, the selling point. But then also, don't sell it so hard. Like, the movie is still, like, a couple weeks away. And I've already seen, like, I'm not even trying to see it. Like, I'm not even looking these things up. And I'm getting blasted with, like, behind-the-scene footage of, like, motorcycle jump off the cliff, motorcycle jump. He did it 17 times. I've seen it already. So it's, like, by the time I do see it in theaters, it's going to be, like, it's going to be played out by then, but I'm still going to see it. But yeah, this goes back to, yeah, that's what I was talking about was Extraction. Same thing with Extraction. Like, it's a perfect Netflix movie because it's like big budget action that I can't remember or pay attention to as hard as I try. Like, all I remember is there's like a very dramatic scene where he jumps into like this giant hole in like Mexico or something. I can't remember. But I don't know. I'll check it out. And you guys see that J-Lo has like her own Netflix? I feel like that's like a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I bet you that. I mean, having not seen it, it's called Mother. Tell your children not to hang out with J-Lo. Mother. And it looks, I mean, it's just like, I don't know, she's like a badass special agent who goes rogue because they betray her. I have not seen it or looked up a description, but I'll bet you it's something like that. A special agent who comes out of retirement to she was set up. The government betrayed her, and now she has to prove her innocence, while also maybe saving a little girl or something, I'm sure. Either way, it started making me think of, you guys remember that movie, Enough? I've had enough, with Jennifer Lopez as well, where she does like some kickbox training with some guy, and then she like gets all those rings on her finger and wraps it up. I've had enough. Yeah, go early 2000s J-Lo. You know what stands out about that movie is that me and my sister used to laugh and laugh and laugh at the insanely over the top scene where I can't remember his name, but the bad husband in that movie smacks the hell out of J-Lo and pushes her to where she's had enough. But the way they do it is like so, it's like such a heavy scene, and it's so, they're cranking up like the drama, and they're cranking up like the heaviness, and then when he smacks her, it is so like jarring, and then I think it's such a like smack of a sound effect that like, and then also her reaction of just like, oh. Something about it used to really set me and my sister off. We would just be dying laughing. I think it was mostly because it was like such a over the top smack of a noise that like, and it just comes out of nowhere. You're just like, whoa, now I can see why you've had enough. And then the only thing I remember is her just having like all these fucking Super Bowl rings or whatever that she's got wrapped up. So it's cool to see that there's a sequel out there. Mother. Was there anything else? You can kind of wrap it there. I've been rambling a lot about a bunch of nothing, but I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for tuning in. And to think that I wasn't going to do this episode, boy, would you have missed out on all that sweet audio from Christian Bale and Tom Cruise. But thank you so much for tuning in. Have you not hit that like and subscribe button? Because it's not a whole lot that helps the channel other than your support. So thank you so much. And if you haven't already, tell a friend. We're also on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast audio. I am your host as always, Kyle McLemore. We'll see you next time on the pod.